Alright, here we go with algebra part 2, and this is probably going to be released in 2 videos, if not 4, again, to try to keep the problems kind of really short, or at least the video as short as possible. Alright, so here's the important thing to note. We got this congruency statement. ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark up my triangle on my diagram. You should do this on the test as well. As soon as you know some information, mark your diagram. So I have AB, which is listed first, is congruent to DE, so I'll mark them with single ticks. I have BC along the side equal to EF, and then I have AC congruent to FD. So this is going to allow me to maybe mark the angles inside a little bit more carefully as well. So certainly this angle that occurs at B should be the same as the one at E, and I'll even mark this to be 42 degrees because it's transferable. Remember, if triangles are congruent, so are all their parts. Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Which then tells me that this angle at C, which I'll mark that, is the same as the one at F. And of course, this angle here at D should be the same as angle at A, which conveniently is marked to be 87. So this is going to tell me everything I need to know to set up these equations to solve them. So if we deal with these angles first, this tells me that 87 has to be the same as 5x plus 2. And at the same time, I can think about y, but let's hold off on y just momentarily if I could. So let's go down here and solve for x. So if 87 is equal to 5x plus 2, that means 5x is the same as 85, which means that x has to be, in this particular case, what's that, 17? 5 goes into 8 once, it's remainder of 3, 35, yeah, so x is 17. So at this point, it's easy to think that you might be stuck because you're seeing here, well, I have this 3y, but I don't have an angle or an angle over here to match it for my equation. But what you do have here is an x. So check this out. If x is 17, that means this angle is the same as 5 times 17 plus 2. That's not something I'm going to try to do in my head. I'll just work it out here. Let's see, 17 times 5. 5, that'd be 85 plus 2 should be 87, which tells me that this angle at D is 87 degrees. But wait a minute. If that angle is 87 and this angle is 42, don't the three of them have to add to 100 degrees? And the answer to that is, of course, yes. So if I add 42 and 87, I'll get 129, right? And if that's 129, that means this angle is the remainder to get to 180. So that's going to be 51 degrees, right? Which actually becomes the second part of my equation. So if these two angles are congruent, the ones at C and the ones at F, that means 3y is the same as 51. And of course, if 3y is the same as 51, divide both sides by 3. Let's see, 3 goes into 5 once, so the remainder of 2, and then 7. So y in this case is 17. All right. So there we have it. X is 17 and Y is 17. So there you go. They're both 17. Let's slide over to this guy. We're going to do the same kind of analysis. So first, let's mark up our diagram. We have HJ, here it is congruent to TR, which is that guy here. JK, same as RS. And then we got 1, 2, 3, and boom, 2, boom. Okay. So in terms of marking our angles, we have this angle at 3, which is in between the 3 and the 2 markings. So that's got to be congruent here. Okay. We have this angle, which is 83. The same as this guy here, which is also going to be 83. And then we have the angle at H. 1, 3. Oh, I'm sorry, I mismarked this. Hope you guys caught that. Let's see. The 6a minus 3 angle should actually equal to 51. Yes, okay. And I apologize for that. Please go back and rewind that. See if you can fix that error. I apologize. I was kind of I was distracted, and I apologize for that. But either way, I'm sorry. This angle at T was a correction. Should be actually the same as angle at H, which is 51, because again, T and H are going to be corresponding. And then the angle at K should be the same as the angle at S, which is this guy here. I guess I could mark those. All right. So now we have to go about kind of our solving methodology. So this isn't something, this is going to be pretty straightforward at this point. So if I'm looking at the angle at H and the angle at T, okay, it shows me that 51 has got to be the same as 6a minus 3. So if that's the case, I add 3 to both sides, so I'll get 54 is equal to 6a, making a in this case 9, which gets me halfway there. Now from here we could proceed a couple different ways. We can use that, maybe substitute it back in and try to figure out a match. But if I'm looking at this triangle, I know this angle is marked, this angle right here is marked to be 7b minus 10. But look, if this is 51 and that's 83, I should be able to tell this angle. 51 and 83 make a 134, which makes this remainder angle, the one that's marked at K, have to be equal to 46 degrees to make the total of 180 for the triangle, which then tells me that 7b minus 10 has got to be equal to 46. So that means 7b is going to be equal to 56. B in this case is going to be 8. Okay. Sorry guys, that was a bit rocky, so hopefully you can go back, kind of rewind and watch that one. All right, so here we have kind of the set into two different parts. I want you to find the values of the unknowns, of course, but I want you to find the values of the unknowns that are going to make the two triangles in this picture congruent. And again, we're going to do some marking right off the bat. We have LKN, so LK and M, so those are going to be congruent. And then KN, congruent to ML. And of course, the middle, even though it says it, we know that's going to be reflexive. So immediately what it's going to let us do is mark up some angles as well. So we have this angle, which is marked in pink now, angle 55. Should be the same as this one. I'll even transfer the number so I don't forget in the future. We have this angle at L, congruent to this angle at N. And then, of course, we have this guy congruent to 40. And again, I'll mark that one to be 40. So this is important because if I want to try to solve for some unknowns, I have to know values. I have two unknowns to solve for. I do have this line, but again, if I observe that I have a congruent pair on the other side, that's got to be the same as 12. So we have x minus 7 is equal to 12, making x, of course, equal to 19. The second part is this angle that occurred on the inside. I could come over here and kind of make this realization these are congruent. So in this upper triangle, if this angle is 40 and this angle is 55, that'll give me 95 degrees, leaving only 85 degrees left for that angle that's unknown. And since that's the same as my angle in the bottom triangle, I can conclude that y plus 2 has got to be the same as 85, meaning that y in this case is 87. And boom, goes the dynamite. All right, so same kind of analysis here. I want to make these triangles congruent. So TNS, boom, UH is down here, which is good because, again, we have a matching pair. Let's see, NS to HS, and then TS, and then US. Okay. So now let's get into the solving. It looks like we have, again, a couple. We have the two that I've circled, so x plus 7 has got to be the same as 15, which means that x is going to equal 8. Okay, and then we have to figure out this guy, so maybe a little bit more has to be done. I know this angle down here is 40. Hey, check this out. We have a vertical pair, so that's going to be 55 degrees. And that's going to be by the vertical angle theorem, of course. And then by the triangle sum theorem, I know these three have to add to 180. So I know if I take y plus 2 and I add 40 to it, and I add 55 to it, that's going to be 180 degrees. Triangle sum theorem says that is what's true about the angles of a triangle. So combining, if I take y, let's see, 97 is equal to 180. I subtract 97 both sides. That'll give me a 3, and then 8, 83. So y in this case is 83. Very good. Let's move on. Actually, I'm going to stop the video there. That's about 10 minutes, which is about as long as I want to try to make any of these. And we'll resume in the next part of the video. Get to work.